Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Key Time Sports. It's Key Time coming back to talk about what we all saw in college football week 12 and my reaction to the college football playoff bracket latest rankings. Now, the next rankings will come tomorrow night, but I got to talk about what happened Saturday afternoon in college football. First off, with the Clemson Tigers. Now, the Clemson Tigers, early in the season, nobody thought that they would get this far. Now they are 8-2, 7-1 in the ACC, and they have an outside chance at making the college football playoff. Now, I've always said this throughout the season. Y'all know how I feel about Caleb Klubnik. He wasn't fitting the bill weeks 1 and 2, but now he's been on a tear. He was 27 of 41, 288 yards, 2 touchdowns, and most importantly, 0 interceptions. He is protecting the ball over the last 3 or 4 games. Now, when it comes to the Clemson Tigers, they've improved offensively and defensively. Could they face a team in the college football playoff and win against a team like Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon? Now, ain't nobody touching Oregon. I think Oregon is gonna make it to the national championship, and I think this is Oregon's championship to lose. But back to the Clemson Tigers. Clemson Tigers, they are a decent team, but when you get to a team that is much more superior, I think that they will fall in the first or second round. But they played against the Panthers, Pittsburgh Panthers on Saturday, and this is what I expected. I expected a close game where Clemson would pull it out in the end. I mean, like I always say, third down is what wins teams the game. And you see in this game right here that both of these teams were pretty much subpar on third down. Clemson was 5 of 15. Pittsburgh was 6 of 18. So obviously both of these offenses are inept. And Clemson, will they be able to hang with a team? Will they be able to hang with a team with the offensive firepower of the teams that I mentioned just a few seconds ago? I don't think so. So Clemson, you had your chance at making the playoffs. You're not going to make the playoffs. And I hope that the committee does not catch us off guard with one of those offshore teams like Boise State. I mean, Boise State, they haven't done nothing remotely to what these other teams have done, to what Oregon has done, to what Georgia has done, to what Texas has done, to what Ole Miss has done. And Ole Miss has a chance to make the college football playoff. But do I see Ole Miss making the college football playoff? No, I don't. Because I think that they will get a New Year's Six bowl, and that's as far as the Ole Miss Rebels will go. Now Clemson, you had your chance throughout the season. You didn't make it. You pretty much messed up your entire season losing in week 2. And Pittsburgh, you don't even have a chance at making the playoffs. So not too much is gonna happen for the Pittsburgh Panthers. So all in all, this game was a very defensive, entertaining game if you like defense. So Clemson, congratulations, 8-2, still have an outside chance, an outside puncher's chance at making the college football playoff. Will they make it? It remains to be seen. Hopefully the college football playoff picks the right teams this year, and we do not have another blowout game like we did last year in the college football playoff, because as far as college football fans and viewers, we do not pay our money to see a 45-point blowout like we saw in the national championship game a couple of years ago. We do not want to see that. College Football Playoff Committee. So, College Football Playoff Committee, use your resources the right way and put the right teams in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. Come on, cause we like competition. We don't like blowouts. We don't. So the next game I want to cover is the Utah Utes and the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, one thing, I got to give Deion Sanders his flowers first, because what he has done in the past year and a half at Colorado, nobody, and I do mean nobody, expected this. Do you know the last time Colorado was even relevant? 2016. 2016, Colorado Buffaloes was 9-3, made it to a bowl game, and they lost their bowl game. But ever since 2016, they've had lackluster performances, two lackluster coaches, and it really wasn't until Deion came in and he put his blueprint on Colorado and said that we're not gonna be mediocre. We're not just gonna keep our heads above water. No, we're going to exceed everybody's expectations. And Colorado, they still have a chance at making the college football playoff. So now we look at the Colorado Buffaloes. Shedeur Sanders is on a tear, 30 of 41, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Now that interception, it came on the first play of the game, so it really didn't have much of an impact. But after that first quarter, second quarter, and then basically in the second half, particularly in the fourth quarter, Colorado just took the game over. Now, as far as Colorado, are they able to withstand the offensive firepower of a Texas, Oregon, Georgia, Ole Miss, Ohio State? Yes, they are, because the defense, I am going to tell y'all, the defense, the Colorado Buffaloes defense has improved from last year to this year. If you have your phone, look at Colorado's defensive stats, and I'm going to tell you, in college football rankings, the Colorado defense is near one of the best defenses in football. To be exact, they are 30th in total defense. Last year at this time, Colorado was 115th in total defense. They were not able to get off the field on third down. They were not able to get off the field on fourth down. They was not even able to put pressure on the quarterback consistently. And now they are doing that week in, week out, quarter in, quarter out, game in and game out. Now, Colorado, you have a chance. If you win out, let's say Colorado wins out 10-2, the College Football Committee has a tough decision to make. Do you put the Buffaloes in the college football playoff and leave a team like Indiana out, who is undefeated? Leave another team like Boise State out, who is undefeated. But Boise State, here's the problem I have with Boise State. Boise State haven't played nobody. Boise State, most of their games, they have won by at least 21 points, by 3 touchdowns or more. The strength of schedule and the quality of opponents that Boise State has played does not qualify a spot in the college football playoff, because there are teams that are much more worthy of a playoff spot, like Colorado, Indiana, Ole Miss, and other teams of that caliber. So Colorado, they still have all of their chips are placed at the front end of the table. Only thing that they have to do is win the next 2 games and let everything else take care of itself. The next game and final game I want to cover is one of the games that everybody was looking at in week 12 of the 2024 college football season. It's the Tennessee Volunteers and the Georgia Bulldogs. So, Tennessee, I was skeptical of y'all all season. The first three games, everybody was saying, key time, Tennessee is back. But where has Tennessee been at all these years? They've been a lackluster team, and you've played against lackluster competition all season. Do I need to mention the first three games? You played against UT Chattanooga, you played against UTEP, and then you played against Tennessee Martin. All of those teams are bottom five schools in college football. So you really didn't play anybody the first 3 weeks. They just gave you that schedule on a silver platter so you could start off 3-0. So fast forward to the first game that you have trouble against, Arkansas. Everybody was surprised that you lost to Arkansas because Arkansas is a bottom of the damn barrel team this year. And then you were lucky to beat the Alabama Crimson Tide. And then you have trouble against Georgia. Well, we all know that Georgia is in a class of their self when it comes to playing against regular competition. But we all know who Georgia's kryptonite is. Now, Tennessee's kryptonite is they fans. Because they fans, they are the most oblivious fans and obnoxious fans out there. Tennessee, they think every year is their year. You haven't won a championship since 1998. Since 98. Do you know how long 1998 was? The beeper was out in 1998. PayPal was just established in 1998. Netflix was established in 1998. That is how long the Tennessee Volunteers and you Tennessee Volunteers fans haven't been relevant. You haven't been relevant since 1998. So let's fast forward to 2024 right now. You are led by a quarterback named Nico Emiliava, who pretty much at times he looks like the top quarterback out there in college football. And then now other times, like against Georgia, where he shrink under pressure and just become a little squirrel and he can't do nothing. So now we saw what he did versus Georgia, and we saw what he did versus Alabama. Now Alabama, he was lucky to get that win versus Alabama. But against Georgia, 20 of 33, 167 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Now, Tennessee, they started off this game 10-0. Everything was going their way. But I was saying to myself, I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to see from the Tennessee Volunteers defense. I've always been skeptical of the Volunteers defense all season, and it shows me right. Saturday night. Because Saturday night, when you look at it, third down, Georgia, 8 of 14, Tennessee, 10 of 18. But what was the determining factor of this game? Turnovers and lack of execution on third down. Now, Georgia fumbled the ball, but the one turnover that Tennessee did not need was Nico Emiliava throwing an interception in a close game, I might add you. And after he threw that interception, the game was pretty much over because when you look at it, the Volunteers running game, they had 152 yards rushing. Georgia running game, they cracked over 100 yards. But that Georgia defense came to play in the second half. They didn't give up a point in the second half. Tennessee, you had a big old goose egg in the second half. Donuts, you had 2 donuts in the third and fourth quarter. So now, what do we really know about Tennessee? what do we really know about Georgia? Well, we know that Georgia is going to be in the thick of it until the national championship game. But Tennessee, we always have trepidation with Tennessee at the end when it comes to later on in the season. Every year around this time, we have trepidation. And I'm going to tell you, you Tennessee fans, y'all just need to be humble right now, because even if you do win your next 2 games and go 10-2, you still might be out of the college football playoff, because this is a crazy scenario that I saw. There could be a 8-way tie for first place in the SEC. There could be, because you have, I'm going to go down a list. You have Georgia, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Texas. Then you have Texas A&M. You have those 5 teams, and then you have 3 other teams that nobody penciled on their radar coming into the season that could also be 9-1, 9-3, or 10-2 at the end of the season. So it is going to be a lot of movement in the college football rankings in the next 2 weeks. But as far as Tennessee fans, actually what I need to tell Tennessee fans is, you had your chance. You shouldn't have lost to Arkansas, which is one of the worst teams in college football, and you shouldn't have lost to you shouldn't have lost any games. If I'm gonna keep it a buck with Tennessee fans, you shouldn't have lost any games. The 2 games you've lost, that should automatically keep y'all out of the college football playoff. But if I was on the college football playoff committee, I would have to see every other team's strength of schedule and their quality wins, because what quality wins do Tennessee have? Tennessee only has 1 quality win, and that's against Alabama. Every other team that Tennessee has played against has had a losing record. Come on, college football playoff committee. Listen to me. I'm going to say that again. They only have 1 quality football win, the Tennessee Volunteers do. Every other win that they have is against a team that has a losing record. That should automatically keep the Volunteers out of the college football playoff. I mean, come on, college football playoff committee. Y'all are supposed to have some smart minds on that committee. If you put Tennessee in the playoff, you're going to have a lot of people going to have problems with that. And I will be one of them. I will come on here and say that I have a problem with Tennessee. I had a problem with Tennessee being ranked 11 coming into the season. Now, you know I'm going to have a problem with Tennessee being in the college football playoff, knowing that they've only beat 1 team with a winning record all season. I mean, come on, college football playoff committee. Now, I digress. I'm going to talk about Georgia. Georgia, what can I say? You projected to win the national championship. You are first. Oregon is second. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Georgia Bulldog Oregon Duck national championship in January. I wouldn't be surprised by that. But what Georgia needs to do, the same as Tennessee, win their next 2 games and then just look and see what happens when it comes to the college football playoff. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the college football playoff committee throws 2 or 3 teams that nobody didn't even think that would reach the college football playoff. Now, one thing that I would want to see, what teams I want to see in the college football playoff, we got to have Indiana in the college football playoff. This is their best team in school history, best start in school history. And Kurt Cinetti, he's got the Indiana Hoosiers believing that they can win the national championship this year. Another team that I want in there is Alabama. Now, Alabama, they have been up and down all season, but a college football playoff without Alabama, that wouldn't look right. It really wouldn't. And then you have those other teams like Penn State. Is Penn State really worthy of a college football entrance? College football playoff entrance? I don't know. Is Texas worthy of a college football playoff entrance? Entrance. Who knows? Maybe. But when you look at Texas schedule, I still have the same trepidation with Tennessee schedule like I do with Texas schedule. They've only won against maybe one or two teams with a winning record, and everybody else had a losing record. So Georgia, control what you can control. Dominate that football field if you are Georgia. Tennessee, you got to hope for some help. You got to win your next two games and then hope for some help. Hope that the College Football Playoff Committee has a sensitive spot for you Tennessee Volunteer fans. Because if it was left up to me, I wouldn't put y'all in the College Football Playoff. How can you say that you are a top-notch team but struggle to win versus the top-notch teams and only beat up on subpar competition? That doesn't sound right to me, and it shouldn't sound right to the College Football Playoff Committee. So with that, those are my reactions to Week 12 of the 2024 college football season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, click the notification bell to get notified of all of my reaction videos, shows, and other content. And remember, one last thing, the key is always on time.